thinking, most humans don't do it right. I want to talk about that in this video. My name is Dan Paulson, and I want to say first off, everybody believes they think correctly and that other people think wrong. That's a part of what that's a kind of normal. And not everybody fits that. I'm speaking in kind of general terms here, but there are exceptions, and that's what I want to talk about. Why do people think that they have free thinking? And I believe that some people do. I don't want to get into the science aspect of how thoughts might precede something that a person actually does. I don't know how any of that would work. But what I want to talk about is looking at people in general terms and how we think about what we believe and why we might believe it, what basis we have, and what makes people believe different things and be convinced of something. And you can, if you step back and you're not in anybody's camp, you can see that they have oftentimes opposite beliefs for no good reason. But within their groups, they believe they have good reason. What's that? I look at it and think, why are people this way? And I'm going to speak in kind of general terms of, like I said, big groups. And I'm going to pick on one right here because it's easy for me to pick on. I don't have a problem with it. It's like all of the ancient alien or there was a lost civilization that had high technology and that, modern science lies and all of that stuff. That group of conspiracy theorists, face it, they don't have anything other than claims. And I want to qualify something here. Actually, long ago in life, as I'm looking for answers, I find the Erich von Däniken book, Chariots of the Gods. I'm like, oh man, yeah, aliens. I went that whole thing. I went down that rabbit hole. I studied all that stuff, the pyramids, all of that. And the more I looked at it, the more I studied it, the more I became aware, the more I realized, nah, that's not there. I see what's going on, and it's not that. So I didn't just jump on board. I jumped on board to begin with, but I questioned it and I looked at it, and you eventually learn that I'm following somebody here that isn't exactly right. They've got a business going on, but it's not just a business. It's fantasy. It's non-demonstrable. Humans are very prone to that, believing things that are not real. Actually, I shouldn't say it like that. Believing in things that are supernatural, that are non-demonstrable, or that might be natural that you can't show anybody. That we're very prone to believing things that we can't see. You know what? Within that, though, I do make distinctions even. There are people that offer up alternative ideas. They might be far-fetched, but they're alternative ideas. That's okay. Where I get into the conspiracy theory part is when that same, like the alternate civilization, the lost civilization, they have no evidence, and their biggest basis for moving ahead is that science lies and that it's no possible way that this could have been done the way they say. That is their evidence. That is not providing anything. That's just saying, oh, that can't be done, when they don't know how humans work. And oftentimes are very much in those cases in denial of the things that we can see. The stuff that's very grounded, very much on earth, is denied as baloney, while people look beyond to something greater. And I believe that they actually, in many cases, really believe that. I don't think they believe they're doing something, maybe a little bit, but I think at some point when you're good at that, you really believe what you're doing. It shows up in all human fantasy adventures. People like to use the term critical thinking and tell you you're not doing it. Let's work up to that. Are they critically thinking? Are we? First, I have to define what critical thinking is in the way that I'm using the term. Critical thinking means that you question everything that you are told, and you only proceed with some sort of certainty that there is something that you are proceeding along that isn't being made up. And not many people can make that distinction for some reason. Just to start with, to have, if your basis is denial of some things in order to be right, that might be okay, but you look through it. Let me put it this way. I have the mental capacity. I use my imagination a lot. I live inside of my head. Well, we all do, don't we? I mean, very focused in there. And I forgot what I was talking about. I stray like that. I'm living inside my head, critical thinking. I don't know. Okay, I realize myself as if I think back on my life and I know where I came from and I can sit outside myself and see my little kid self and realize, oh, there's my little Danny Paulson self being born. That's what he's going through. He's being told that. That's what he believes. I'm not there anymore, but I see what's happening down there. And I'm not critically thinking at that point. I'm doing what I'm believing what I'm told. I am not critically thinking. Only later in life, when I go, where did that come from? Is God really there? What happens if I was born someplace else? What happens if I was born somewhere where there was no religion and it was up to me to find what was there? Would I find God? Would I find Jesus? No, because I've looked. The only way I know about God or Jesus is from people telling me things that I can explain in better ways. I had to go back and add this in. I realize I have some very tough definitions that I probably don't always pass along. To me, belief in ghosts, genies, goblins, angels, gods, devils, any of that stuff is supernatural. It's all supernatural. Critical thinking means you go back to the baseline and say, where did I come from and why do I believe and what am I branching out from here? If you're starting off in a fantasy belief and branching from there, that's not critical thinking. You think it's critical thinking, but you're thinking within the framework of what you've been told to think within. And thinking outside of that is not okay because it causes one to question what they believe in. I can say now, looking back on my life, that I was the kind of person that for some reason when people would say things to me, I would be, let me see for myself. Don't tell me. I know you think you're the expert, but get out of my way. That's how I was. People say, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, that's already been tried. It can't be done. Get out of my way. If you're that kind of a person, you're the critical thinker. By the same token, if you believe what people tell you because it feels good and you can't prove it at all and you move ahead, to me, that's not critical thinking. Critical thinking doesn't mean that you're staying within a belief and not being open to other things. But once you do that, I mean, I'm not open to supernatural at all. Not at all. I just believe that there's no possible way. I can't be convinced. If something is happening in this universe, it will be natural. It will not be supernatural, which means it will be explainable. To say I can't explain it, you have to believe in it, critical thinking stops right there or doesn't start. That's saying, okay, I'm going to believe that and then function from there. Why would you do that? I don't often get grief, but I stay kind of quiet and things are kind of small. But some of the most common grief that I get from theists when I'm working with Jesus material, and not the people that are here commenting and we're working together, but outsiders sometimes that just kind of catch it a little bit, that don't exactly know what's going on, will throw things at me like, the evil of, the satanic influence of getting into other material, that is, they've been told things about that material that they believe without ever having looked into it themselves. And then they call you, demonic or sinful for even suggesting that stuff while you're simply open-minded, trying to learn and trying to use critical thinking, while they're telling you that you've got a problem, you're a sinner, and you're not critically thinking because you don't believe what they're thinking. This is just so backwards that you, wow. We see, I see headlines, I see comments, I see things happening right now where the most bizarre thing can happen and people are throwing political party back and forth. Somebody did something, school over here harasses this group of people, chanting and yelling, and they feel bad about it. Oh, must be Democrats. Oh, must be Republicans. Oh, must be, you're like, what the? These divisions are made so severe that nobody's critically thinking anymore. They're just saying, if you're not on my side, you're that. If you're not this, you're that. They don't even know what anybody is. And the chanting I'm referring to, of course, we see this all over the place. That was just something that happened at a football game. This has been going on forever, that has been normal parts of life, that we are getting so severe now, we're grabbing anything that happens and accusing somebody of being them. It's very tribal. It's incredibly tribal. They're not thinking. It's not critical thinking, but within the group, they will tell you, you're not critically thinking. This broke. Everybody thinks they got it right, and most of them don't. Most of them don't. So critical thinking, though, to me means question. Look at this. Does it make sense? Can you interact with it? If you're proceeding going, no, I'm going to have to wait until later, that is my problem with supernatural. And I'm still surprised that people will come at me with God. People that have been here for a while, I'm still surprised they will comment things like that. I'm like, you don't get it. Show me your God. Or don't bring him. You're just bringing fantasy. Don't take up my time. I'm busy trying to figure out reality. Critically thinking. Please. Respect that. You see what's going on. I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to say everything's going to be okay. Because I don't believe that. You know what? There's places out there you can hear that. Go there. I don't see that. Your God's not helping. Not at all. Critical thinking is questioning and proceeding based on what you know and what you can figure out. To say, that can't do that, that can't be, it's got to be this, and then provide no evidence. The flat earther provides more evidence than the conspiracy theorist or the theist, honestly. At least it looks flat for a while. Nothing else is that visible. Oh, maybe gouge marks on rocks. The religion one, no. And I get what people want. I really do. I do. If me seeking this hurts your feelings, those are your feelings. That's your choice. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. I'm here to try and find out what's up. If your feelings are hurt, think it through. Be farther along. Okay. If you follow a group of people that believe that there was an ancient civilization that died off and science is hiding it from us, you don't critically think. If you believe the earth is flat and there's no possible, somehow in this vast universe, everything coalesces into balls except for earth, which is a pancake. You believe that? Well, then, you're not critically thinking. I believe it's possible that there was a higher level of civilization than we know of, and perhaps more people and a lot more bodies to work, and that maybe we don't have all of that, but the high technology and all of that, no, there's a point where none of that is grounded, and everything that you can explain is explained by other means. Religion as well. Whatever miracles happen are rare, uncommon, and occur in religion is at the same rate as outside of religion. Disasters happen and wipe out a whole lot more. You find a couple of a couple of examples of healing, but people deny the millions of prayers that didn't go answered, or the people that were senselessly killed and slaughtered. You can't just grab a few data points and say, boom, that's where I'm going. That's not critical thinking. You have to look at everything. If you only look at a little bit to move along, and you only find, okay, I like that piece. I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh, I like that. That's not critical thinking. You're moving along based on your feelings, not on what is true. And that's okay as long as your feelings don't interfere with what is true. And boy, they sure do, across the board. People's feelings interfere with what is true. Anyway, that's my rant today. I look at people and think nobody's thinking anymore. There are people that are. So many people are not thinking anymore. And what are they doing? They're wiring their brains practicing what they're doing. We're watching it get bigger. Yeah. Tesla. To understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The energy is happening. The frequency of the cycles is there. The rise and the fall, the up and the down, the reoccurrence of events that continually grow and get bigger and bigger each time without anything interrupting the flow of those cycles or changing their course. They're going to keep on going the way they are. That's not a prediction. That's just looking at the mechanics. Watching a wave. The wave is going to happen. It is created in its nature by the nature of humanity right now. And you can see where it's headed based on observing humanity. Yeah, no magic. Just look at what's happening. Step back enough to realize that it's a cycle that's getting bigger and bigger, being driven by our inability to see each other, to understand, to feel, to share. We're evolving to death, and we deny that. Love one another. See you in the next video.